So I tell my story to a shamanic healer. And he goes into a trance journey. He rides the wind horse down the rabbit hole to consult with his spirit guides in the world below this one. And this is not hell we're talking about. This is another system entirely. Under the earth I go, on an oak leaf I stand. I ride a filly that was never foaled. I carry the dead in my hand. I carry the dead in my hand. And when he comes back topside, he says he consulted with his spirit helpers in the lower world, and he told them, I'm here to do some healing work for Jean. And they said, great intention. Wow, there are beings in the spirit world who wish me well. And, they did some work on my behalf, and they removed some gunk that doesn't belong there anymore. And then they told him the reason that I still feel this pervasive sense of doom. And it all starts to make sense now. There's a curse on my head. There's a curse on the Irish side of my family going down the female line. And it's not something the shaman can resolve. I need to go back to the place where it all started and bury a hatchet and call off the curse. It started out as a feud. Don't they all? That's right. Somebody's sister stole somebody's boyfriend. But it's escalated into a full-blown cross-generational curse. It's like a negative prayer. May all your daughters and their daughters and their daughters' daughters. It's made it hard for the women in my family to trust each other. These are ancestral soul wounds. And apparently, the curse causes me to have vengeful feelings. But that's not me. Laz, you've known me a long time. I mean, not as long as some of the folks here, but long enough.
Yeah.
I'm not a vengeful person, am I?
No, Jean, you're not a vengeful person.
Thank you.
Unless someone crosses her.
Well, all right, fine. I will lay down my grudge against the world. I will do what it takes to set things right for me and my kin. I will go to Ireland and bury a hatchet on my family land and ask the spirits of that place to call off the curse. I will bury a hatchet, literally. What's a hatchet exactly? Well, I Googled it. It's a single-handed striking tool with a short arm and a sharp blade. You can get one for about $10 at a sporting goods store. Like this. So, Patty and I get busy. She, being the designated worrywart, thoroughly researches federal aviation regulations. It turns out the hatchet's A-OK in our checked luggage. She encases it in cardboard and duct tape and sticks it in my duffel bag. We got our tickets to Dublin. We're packed up. There's just one thing. Where is my family land? I don't exactly know. Do I still have relatives in Ireland? I have no idea where to find them. What I do know is that Agnes Delia Murray, my dad's mother, emigrated from Ireland to this country in 1907 when she was 19 and died in Cleveland, Ohio in 1959 when I was 9. Dad complained that she was bossy and a messy housekeeper. Sounds familiar. That she was always trying out different churches and making Dad come along. Mom recalls that she had an ill-fitting set of false teeth that she kept stashed in her apron pocket in case of a visitor, and that she could still lift her skirts a bit and dance a jig even in those later years. We know she came from Tog McConnell in the landlocked county of Roscommon. It's in the log there at Ellis Island. But my cousin Tim has done a lot of genealogical research, and he can't find evidence of any Murrays related to us who are still in Roscommon. I traveled o'er the sea to Ireland's fair shores, my true love by my side, she's the one I adore. To the land of the green ones, the home of the sheep, to lay an axe in the earth that my soul might be free. Day 6 of our Ireland trip. Patty and I are driving out of Galway, headed for Tog McConnell. We've seen dolmens, cairns, standing stones, megalithic tombs built before the pyramids. We've seen fairy rings and gateways to the She. The She, that's an Irish Gaelic word meaning the fairy folk, the dwellers of the hollow hills, the other worlds. We've seen the hill of Tara where kings were crowned, and the warrior goddess Maeve is buried standing up with spear in hand. Sacred wells devoted to Bridget, the red-haired pagan goddess who morphed into a saint when the missionaries arrived. This land is beloved by her people, and you can feel it. We've been here long enough to fall under her spell. The lush countryside spreads out before us. Flocks of sheep graze on either side of the road. We pull into the Tog McConnell town center. There's a church, a grocery store, a post office / convenience mart. Has the young woman behind the grocery counter ever heard of the Murray family? Well, around here we call them the Murrays, she says with a wink. I don't know. The postmaster does. Ah, the Murrays, says the postmaster, peering over his reading glasses. Your grandmother's brother, Peter, lived nearby. His daughter, Catherine, the widow of Joe Egan, she's the only one left. And your family land, it's up for sale. I can tell you how to get there. And the directions, I'm sure, are fine for anyone who grew up around here. We're utterly lost by the third turn. You're going to have to ask for help, says Patty. Try that house. Well, she has a bit of the gift of sight, has Patty. Noreen Donnellan answers the door. Ah, the Murrays, she says, looking us up and down. Yes, I can tell you how to get to your family land and Catherine Egan's house as well. But you won't find Catherine at home. She's visiting her daughter Dimpna in County Offaly, about an hour's drive from here. She invites us into her living room. And within minutes, she's got the tea brewing, cookies on a tray, and my cousin Dimpna on the phone. Dimpna and her mother Catherine, my grandmother's niece, will meet us at the old hotel in nearby Ballinasloe. A few hours later, we're standing in front of the hotel and my Irish relatives are pulling into the parking lot. Dimpna, middle-aged, blonde, radiant in a powder blue pantsuit. Catherine in her early 80s, broad smile I've seen in pictures of Grandma with a classic Tara brooch pinned to her red wool sweater. We're cousins, she exclaims. We never knew what happened to Delia. We wrote for a while and then lost touch. And she changed her name, I'm thinking, because I knew her as Agnes. When they drive us to the family land, sure enough, there's a for sale sign on the falling down stone fence. And there's a lot of it, like 70 acres. Which surprises me, because Grandma was poor in Ohio. Well, that's because the family wealth was in the land, which went to the oldest son, who got himself electrocuted at the local slaughterhouse. Bad business there. Catherine recalls growing up on the farm with her 7 siblings, where they grew turnips, beets, corn, potatoes. Children helped to till and weed the fields. My mother Katie, she said, always kept a bucket and a dipper on the porch, always ready with a drink of cold water after a day's work in the field. There were no pubs back then, so her dad, Peter, would go rambling for entertainment, traveling from house to house, playing cards, telling stories, and enjoying live music. Catherine rifles through her purse, pulls out a laminated photo card from the 1961 funeral of her dad, Peter, my grandmother's brother. Peter's face, I see my dad's. Prominent nose, the wide mouth. Well, the last stop on the tour is a sacred well on the outskirts of town. Catherine tells us every summer around June 21st, the priest would hold an outdoor mass here. Afterwards, we'd all join hands and dance around the well. Really? You did that on summer solstice, I'm thinking? Sounds just like my women's circle back in Ann Arbor, minus the priest. I silently ask permission and fill a bottle full of water from the sacred well. Many a year now has passed since the curse was thrown down. Roscommons the county, Doc McConnell's the town. From woman to woman, the poison did spread. May peace now be restored to both living and dead. I'm watchful for signs of prejudice in Catherine and Dimpna, as always when meeting new people. It's obvious that Patty and I are partners in life and in love. It's equally obvious they're observant Catholics. But Irish Catholics, does that mean more accepting? They're broadcasting warmth and acceptance. No other blips on the radar screen that I can pick up. What would they make of my hatchet-bearing assignment? If the curse is real, it's impacted them. Would they want to participate? Or try to stop me? In the end, self-censorship wins out, because I just can't bear losing them. They can see I'm a dyke. They don't need to know that I'm a spell-casting, dirt-loving tree hugger. So we bid fond farewell, with promises to write, share family lore. Patty and I are doing Sligo the next day. We've got work to do before we move on. So the next morning, Patty and I return to the family land. She keeps a watchful eye out for passers-by as I get ready for the ceremony. But there's no real sense of threat. This is Ireland. Magic is part of the landscape and always has been. Like my grandmother Delia, I'm spiritually restless. And as I prepare to cast a circle, I think about all the earth-based elemental systems that I've studied and practiced over the years. The Chinese 5 elements, the Lakota Sioux medicine wheel, the Dagara cosmology of West Africa. Today, of course, I'm invoking the Celtic elements, the one framework I can rightfully claim. It's in my blood. Fuin talachaim, Arilyag haraka hasim, Markim achlubog narugo ariyu, Umprem namarav imalav. Under the earth I go, on an oak leaf I stand. I ride a filly that was never foaled. I carry the dead in my hand. Oh, I carry the dead in my hand. Spirits of my ancestors, spirits of this place, guardians of the 4 directions, I ask for your help in this work today. All the good helping doctor spirits in the east, air and the power to know. Air and the power to know. In the south, fiery will and desire. In the south, fiery will and desire. The west is where deep waters flow. The west is where deep waters flow. In the north, earth, mother Gaia, ancestors' bones and Gaia. The circle is now cast. And I lay this hatchet in the ground with healing waters all around. the spirits who are joined in this work today. Stay if you can, go if you must, northwest, south, and east. Northwest, south, and east. The circle is open, but unbroken. The peace of the mother be ever in your heart. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. The circle is open, but unbroken. Peace of the mother be ever in your heart. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. The circle is open, but unbroken. Peace of the mother ever in your heart. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. And blessed be. I traveled o'er the sea to an island so green. In my grandmother's homeland, such beauty I've seen. I arrived as a stranger, departed as kin. May all blessings flow, and may